Today, we're going to dive into a question that sits right at the intersection of philosophy, science, and really our own lives. How do we balance what we actually know with what we simply have to believe? We're going to explore this whole idea of how we measure our own existence. So let's just start there. Think about it for a second. How do you measure your life? Do you count the years? The big achievements? What are the real signposts you use to make sense of your time here? I love this analogy from our source text. Just picture it. You're on a beach and you're drawing lines in the sand to mark off the different chapters of your life. Sounds pretty straightforward, right? Here's the line for childhood, another one for the teenage years, and then one for adulthood. But where is that line exactly? When did your childhood actually end? Was it on your 18th birthday, the day you graduated? The more you think about it, the more you realize that transition is just a blur. Those lines in the sand, they get washed away by the tides of memory and experience all the time. So to get around this problem of these blurry lines, the source text gives us this incredible concept, the stick of certainty. And this isn't just any old event. This is a moment so huge, so undeniable that it basically slams a stake into your personal timeline. It creates a crystal clear before and an after. That blurry line in the sand is gone, replaced by something solid. And what's the ultimate example of this? The birth of your first child. The text argues that this moment is just universal in its power. The person you were before that moment is fundamentally, completely different from the person you become after. There's zero ambiguity. That is a stick of certainty. So what happens when we take this idea of measurement and just blow it up? Apply it not to one life, but to everything. We're going to zoom out, and I mean way out. We're going from the timeline of a single human life to the absolutely mind-boggling scale of the entire cosmos. Okay, so on a cosmic scale, our little human measuring sticks are useless. The real yardstick is this number, the speed of light. It's the universe's absolute, unbreakable speed limit. The distances are so massive that we don't even bother with miles or kilometers. We measure things in how long it takes light to get there. And this just puts that scale into perspective. It takes light just over a second to reach our own moon, 8 minutes to get to the sun, over 4 years to get to the next star over, and then 2.5 million years to reach Andromeda, our closest major galaxy. And that's just our cosmic next-door neighbor. Okay, now get ready for this, because this is where our whole understanding just gets turned completely upside down. This chart shows a truly staggering reality. Everything we were just talking about, every star, every planet, every galaxy we can possibly see, all of that stuff is only 5% of the known universe. The other 95%, it's made of dark matter and dark energy, things we are pretty sure exist, but we can't see or measure them directly at all. The source material just puts it so perfectly with this quote. Our entire perception of the cosmos is just a tiny flicker. We're looking at a tiny piece of a puzzle, a fragment of a reality that is overwhelmingly, fundamentally beyond our sight. But hold on, the mystery isn't just out there in the vastness of space. It's also in here. So let's do a hard pivot. We're going from the infinitely large to the impossibly small, zooming right past a grain of sand, past a single cell, all the way down into the quantum realm. And down here, in the actual building blocks of reality, the nice, solid rules we count on every day, they dissolve. The whole idea of a stick of certainty becomes totally meaningless. Down at this level, reality isn't governed by certainty. It's all about probability. For example, Heisenberg's uncertainty principle tells us we can never know a particle's exact location and its exact momentum at the same time. The more you know about one, the less you know about the other. The big takeaway here is profound. At its most basic level, reality isn't solid. It's fuzzy. So, this brings us right back to us, to the human experience. We've just seen that we are literally surrounded by the unknowable, on the biggest cosmic scale and on the smallest quantum scale. So if we're living our lives sandwiched between these two giant mysteries, how in the world are we supposed to navigate our existence? Well, the text we're exploring argues that we actually have two essential and perfectly complementary tools to do just that. These tools help us define the very boundary of our understanding and give us a way to keep moving forward. The first tool is knowledge. This is everything we can touch, see, hear, measure, and experience directly with our senses. It's the world of facts, of data, of proof. It's the solid ground right beneath our feet. And the second tool is faith. Now, the text here defines this not necessarily in a religious way, but as our human ability to deal with everything that lies beyond the border of our senses. It's the tool we use for that other 95% of the universe, for the quantum fuzziness we can't pin down, and for a future that we just can't predict.
So here's a great way to picture it. Knowledge is what gets you right to the edge of a cliff. It's solid, it's reliable, it gives you a firm place to stand. But it always has a boundary. Faith is the bridge that you build to get across the vast chasm of the unknown.
This whole idea is just captured so beautifully by the Israeli singer-songwriter Mir Ariel, who wrote, "To where you see, from there you believe." Faith isn't a replacement for knowledge. It begins at the exact point where knowledge reaches its absolute limit. And this image, wow, it just brings it all home, doesn't it? Our perception isn't some hard wall that blocks us off from everything we don't know. Like the slide says, it's a lens. It helps us focus on what we know, but it also bends the light from that immense reality that lies just beyond our sight. So we're going to end by turning the question back to you. We all have a boundary to our knowledge, a point where what we can see and measure just stops. The question is, what lies just beyond the edge of what you can see? And what tools are you going to use to explore it?